What was supposed to be a scenic ride through the woods of Washington state ended tragically for two mountain bikers. One was killed and another seriously injured by a cougar. The mauling happened Saturday in North Bend. Wild game officials say the cougar was stalking them before it pounced. The one who survived knocked the cougar down with the bicycle, forcing it to run away. But as soon as the cyclists stopped to catch their breaths, the cougar returned, and this time pouncing on the survivor, putting the cyclist's head in its mouth, according to the tail, and crunching down. The animal tried to shake the body side to side like it does when it's trying to kill its prey. This is all according to the survivor. But when the survivor's friend, identified as S.J. Brooks, started running away, the cougar decided to chase after Brooks instead. The survivor could see the cougar mauling the person's friend.
The cougar had actually dragged the victim back into the wood line, and he was found dead there.
There's no indication that the two victims in any way taunted this animal or did anything to bring this on. It's very, very rare for cougars to behave in this way. In fact, the statistics on this are quite stunning. There's only been one fatal attack in the last 100 years. This will make number 2.
Police say they found the cougar actually standing on top of Brooks's body. It was eventually euthanized after they tracked it down. So Jeff Corwin is with me, wildlife expert and host of ABC's Ocean Treks with Jeff Corwin. And Jeff, I mean, just even sitting here, I've read it again, and sitting here reading it live on TV with you, it just makes your skin crawl. Your heart goes out to, everyone involved, and everything I've read tells me this is totally unusual. And the last cougar attack in Washington state was back in 1924. How did this happen?
Brooke, it is an incredibly rare event. And yes, it makes your skin crawl when you figure and kind of reconcile with how terrifying this must have been for these two gentlemen, as they were doing absolutely nothing wrong, minding their own business. But this is a very rare event. This has only happened in Washington once in 100 years. Only 25 fatalities throughout the whole United States since we've been tracking this in the history of our country. Incredibly rare. Here's my theory, and I'm sure a number of folks share this. A male cougar, and this was a male, weighs anywhere between 120 and 220 pounds in size. This animal was emaciated. It weighed 100 pounds. So I believe that it was compromised. It was pushed to the very fringe of survival, certainly not able to compete with other male cougars. Something else that's incredible about these creatures is they have huge habitats, Brooke, huge home ranges. A male cougar can have a home range of 400 miles, but they compete with other cougars. The number one enemy for an American mountain lion or cougar is a competitive lion. So this animal was pushed to the edge. Normally in situations like this, they hit livestock or sheep or cows. But these guys, I believe, by doing what bicyclists do every day, this animal was perched probably on a slope looking down, and it's what I call the yarn ball response. Cougars are ambush predators. So these guys go flashing by on their bikes at an extreme speed, maybe 20 miles an hour. This animal goes into predatory mode. It's willing to take that risk. It goes for low-hanging fruit, and it's an ultimate tragedy all the ways around.
But it comes back. I mean, Jeff, the fact that one of the cyclists hits the cougar, right, with the mountain bike, it goes away, comes back, attacks again, and then ultimately they find the body of the victim with the cougar, on top of it, sort of under this log. How do you explain that behavior?
I believe this cat was desperate. It was sick. It probably had a number of injuries it was dealing with. As these animals become malnourished, they go for the easiest opportunity for prey. And I believe these guys, minding their own business, doing what was perfectly natural for them, but perhaps they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I believe this animal just took that chance at what it felt was an opportunity for prey. And these guys did what you're supposed to do. If you are in a very dangerous situation with a cougar, again, incredibly rare, but if you found yourself, if you won that terrible lottery,
don't you run?
No, you never run. That's what you never do, because that instigates the bully response. That's the fight response for the cougar. You stand your ground, you hold your ground, you never turn your way from the cougar. You look at it face to face, you look larger than life, which they did with their bicycles. But as one of the guys was being attacked, the other guy ran away, and it was that yarn ball response. This cougar moved in. But again, incredibly rare. We have maybe 300,000 square miles of wilderness in the West, which is home between 20 and maybe 40,000 cougars. A very rare event, incredibly tragic, but certainly scientists and conservationists will want to learn from this to make sure that it can never happen again or find ways to avoid it.
Performing the necropsy to learn a little bit more. It's just so sad. They're beautiful animals, but yeah, I don't know if I could just stand there and stare down a cougar. I think I'd be running, but I hear you loud and clear, Jeff Corwin. I hear you what you should be doing, and just sad all the way around. Thank you so much.